This is higher homework and it will be on selected questions from PaperA. The question we're doing here is question 21. It's a non-calculator question from paper 1. Okay, it looks very much like quite a standard question that I've seen in some of the exam papers that we've had so far. We're going to try and gain 8 marks, and we're going to try and do that by finding the median from RM. We'll try and find the equation of the altitude from AP, and then we'll do some simultaneous equations to find the coordinates of the point of intersection between the two. Right, let's start with part A. Okay, and on the diagram, I've got a diagram there. So what I can do is I can draw in to see what I'm going to be trying to do. I'm going to try and find the median RM. So remember, the median is a midpoint and it'll be across from R. It's going to be RM. So across from R is the line over here, this line PQ. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and find a midpoint. Okay, so that side there is the same as that side. And then what I'll do is I'll be looking to find the equation of that line there, and that should be the point M that's there. Right, let's go ahead and do that to start with. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find the point M by finding a midpoint. So what I'll do is I'll be adding the x coordinates together, dividing by 2, adding the y coordinates and dividing by 2, and that will be the points P and Q. Okay, so let's go for this. So that'll be minus 3 plus 7 all over 2, and then what we've got is we've got 5 plus 3 divided by 2, and what that should give me is the coordinates of M. So that'll give me 2, 4. So I've got this coordinate here, and what I can do now is I can find the gradient of this line because I know the coordinates of R and I know the coordinates of M. So let's go for the gradient of RM. That'll be y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Okay, so I've got minus 5, minus 4, I've got minus 1, and from that I'll take away 2. I'll gather the numbers together. I've got minus 9 on the top, minus 3 on the bottom. Dividing that out should give me 3 as my gradient. So that's the actual gradient of the line there, and that's what I'm going to use for this next part here. So what I'll do is I'll substitute the gradient that I found, and one of the points, so I'll just use the point, I'll use the point R, minus 1, and that's minus 5, just from up above, and I'll substitute it into the equation of a straight line, so which is y minus b is equal to mx minus a. Okay, so y minus, and remember that's our a and that's our b, so that would be minus 5. I've got 3 coming in there as the gradient, x minus minus 1. Okay. What I'll do is, I know I'm going to be doing some simultaneous equations work, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to prepare this through and try to get it ready for the work I'm going to be doing in part C. So that will be y plus 5 is equal to 3x. That's going to be positive, so that's going to be a plus 3 that's there. What I'll do is I'll gather everything with the letters on the left hand side, so I've got minus 3x plus y is going to be equal to, bring the 5 over, gives me minus 2 on that side there. Just to kind of make it a bit neater, I'm going to multiply through by minus 1, and from there I'll get 3x, well, minus y is equal to 2. Okay, so and that will be my equation number 1. Okay, and that's a minus sign that's in there. I'll then go on to part B. So I've now found the equation of this line here. So the next line that I've got to find is the equation of the altitude. Okay, the altitude AP. Okay, so I know the point P, and I know that an altitude would come from P and it would go across the triangle to hit this line here. And it hits that line at right angles. So what I'll do is I'll just draw that one in there as well. So if I draw that across from here, I think at right angles, if I can try to see it properly here, it'll be something like that there. So that angle there will be a right angle, and that would be the altitude, and that would be the point A that's there. Okay. For A, I don't know the coordinates of A, it's not a midpoint or anything like that, and what I need to work out the equation of this altitude is to find the gradient of it and also one point, and the point I'll use will be the point P. Right, so to get the gradient, I'm going to find the gradient of this line and then take the perpendicular gradient, which will give me the gradient of AP. And that's the way I'm going to go and try and solve this one here. So let's find the gradient of RQ first of all. Gradient of RQ is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Substitute my values in and just work that through. So I should have minus 8 on the top, minus 8 on the bottom, and they'll divide out to give me 1. So that's my gradient of 1. I'll then take the perpendicular gradient, so that'll be the gradient of AP. That's going to be equal to, so all I'll do is I'll just flip and change that. So that's like 1 over 1, flip it over, still 1 over 1, change the sign. So that's going to be minus 1 for the gradient. Just make a wee statement here as well, since I know this property here. Since gradient 1, gradient 2 is equal to minus 1 for lines that are perpendicular. Okay, right, so what I've got here is I've got the gradient and I know the point P, so what I'll do is I'll substitute the perpendicular gradient, so that will be the gradient of AP equals minus 1, and I'll go for the point P because that's the only point that I know, and the point P is minus 3,5 into y minus b equals mx minus a. Right, so y minus b, remember that's going to be my a, and that's going to be my b, so that's minus 5 is equal to the minus 1, and it's x minus minus 3. Let's just tidy this up so we can do some simultaneous equations for part C. So I've got y minus 5 equals minus x, that's a plus 3 there, times minus 1, so that should give me a minus 3. Get the x onto this side, so it'll be x plus y is equal to 5 coming over gives me 2. Okay, so that's my second equation, so that's equation number 2. Okay, from there I'm going to go on and I'm going to find the point of intersection. So the point of intersection is this point here that I'm interested in. Right, so let's go for part C. Okay, I'll just split that there. Right, so I'm going to start with my equations. So I've got 3x minus y equals 2, equation number 1, and I'll just gather that together there. X plus y is equal to 2. So that's my equation number 2 there. What I'll do is to remove signs, so I've got minus y and I've got plus y. So if the signs are the same, I would subtract them. If the signs are different, which they are here, I'm going to add. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll add 1 and 2. Adding that will give me 4x. Adding them will cancel them out, so they'll disappear. Adding these together will give me 4. So from there I can see that x is equal to 1. Once I've got the x value, I'll substitute the x is equal to 1, and I'll just put that into any of the equations. Usually I would just put it into the first equation, but the second equation there looks really quite a bit easier, so write that one down first of all, and what we'll do is we'll just substitute the 1 in where x is. So it'll be 1 plus y equals 2, so y is going to be equal to, bringing the 1 over to there, become the minus, so that'll be 1. So what I have finally is the point of contact, or the point of intersection, is going to be 1, 1, and that will be that question complete. Now let me show you how this would be marked. So we're going to gain 1 mark here for getting the midpoint, first of all. We'll then get another mark for getting this gradient of 3. We'll then get a mark somewhere about here for getting the equation of the line, but tidying up the minus signs I would think would be good for that one there. We'll get a 4th mark here for the gradient of the line RQ, then getting the perpendicular gradient, but making a clear statement of why you got that, or showing the working, would give you another mark. And then finally getting the equation of the line, just by tidying up the minus there as well, would be important for you. Right, so that's 6 marks so far. That's the 3 and the 3. For the 2 marks at the end, what I'll do is I'll give 1 mark here for just getting the x coordinate, and 1 mark here for stating the coordinate form for the point of intersection. So that question there is in total out of 8 marks.